On a cold morning in early spring, deep beneath the surface of a remote mining town, 14 men found themselves trapped. The earth above had collapsed without warning, sealing them inside a labyrinth of tunnels with no light, no contact, and no food. For 2 full weeks, these miners would face a nightmare that few could imagine. Cut off from the world, buried alive, forced to battle hunger, thirst, and despair in darkness that never lifted. Who were these men? Ordinary workers, fathers and brothers, who went underground that day, expecting routine shifts. The mine lay hundreds of feet below the earth, a complex maze carved out over decades. Suddenly, a massive rockfall severed communication lines and blocked all known exits. Emergency crews on the surface lost contact immediately. The outside world assumed the worst. Rescue operations began, but time was already the enemy. Imagine being trapped in your basement without power or food for hours. Now multiply that by 14 days, with no air circulation and constant danger. Human bodies can survive without food for weeks, but water is a different matter. 3 to 5 days is often the limit before severe damage sets in. Yet, these men were forced to endure the impossible, clinging to life in conditions that would crush most spirits quickly. Could you sleep on bare concrete for a week without food? Beneath the ground, cold stone walls and dirt floors offered little comfort. The miners had to ration their limited water supply, sharing drops as if they were precious jewels. Temperatures inside the mine hovered just above freezing, a harsh test for any human body. Hypothermia was a constant risk. To stay warm, the men huddled together, their bodies the only source of heat in the pitch-black tunnels. In those first days, panic threatened to consume them. Darkness breeds fear, and with no idea if rescue teams were even aware of their plight, the miners faced a psychological battle alongside their physical one. They organized themselves, assigning roles to maintain calm and order. Leadership emerged naturally, a lifeline amidst chaos. The will to survive became their strongest weapon. What silent horrors could 14 days underground reveal about human endurance? As the hours stretched into days, the men improvised. Using tools scavenged from their workstations, they cleared small passages, hoping to find a way out, or at least improve airflow. Every breath became a treasure, every movement a risk. The claustrophobia was suffocating, yet they refused to surrender. Outside, rescue teams worked tirelessly. Mining experts, engineers, and medical personnel coordinated efforts to pinpoint the location and stability of the collapse. Communication was a critical challenge. The mine's depth and damaged infrastructure made sending drones or robotic devices nearly impossible. The clock ticked mercilessly. The question wasn't just if the miners would be found, but if their bodies could withstand 2 weeks without sustenance. Try lasting 1 summer day without water. These men endured 9. Their hydration came from small puddles of condensation and the occasional drip of underground seepage. Medical data shows that without proper fluids, the human kidney begins to fail. Muscles weaken, and cognitive functions decline rapidly. Yet, the miners remained alert, their minds fighting to stay sharp despite starvation. On the 7th day, a breakthrough came. Rescue crews detected faint signals, tapping sounds, rhythmic and deliberate. The miners had devised a way to communicate through the rock using tools at hand. This simple act of connection breathed new hope into the operation. It proved they were alive and still fighting. For those above ground, it was a moment of relief amid desperation. But survival was far from assured. Each day underground was a battle against dehydration, hypothermia, and exhaustion. The men's bodies slowed, conserving energy. Nutritional reserves vanished. Yet, stories from survival medicine tell us that the human body's will to live is often the deciding factor. In moments of extreme stress, adrenaline, and mental resilience can push limits beyond expectations. Could you imagine holding on to hope when every instinct screams surrender? In the darkness, the miners shared stories, memories, and plans for the future. These conversations were lifelines, reminding each man of the world waiting above. Psychological support, even self-administered, became as vital as any food or water. It was a mental fortress against the encroaching void. As rescue operations intensified, the surface crews faced their own dangers. Shifting rock, unstable tunnels, and limited technology made every attempt perilous. The mine's remote location added complexity, with harsh weather conditions hampering heavy machinery and personnel. Yet, the knowledge of those trapped below fueled relentless determination. On the 12th day, a narrow passage was cleared. A rescue team finally breached the chamber where the miners had taken refuge. The sight that greeted them was a mix of relief and shock. The men were alive but frail, their bodies ravaged by hunger and cold. Medical teams rushed in, administering fluids, warmth, and emergency care. The fragility of human life was on full display. Walking 20 miles through snow is like walking from your house to the next town barefoot. That's what the miners' bodies had endured underground in terms of strain and exposure. Their survival defied odds and tested the limits of human endurance. Each man's story added a piece to the larger puzzle of what it means to survive when the earth itself becomes the captor. What factors kept these men alive? It wasn't just luck. Leadership, camaraderie, resourcefulness, and an unbreakable will played pivotal roles. The miners' ability to stay calm, share resources, and maintain a routine under such extreme conditions aligns with principles recognized by survival experts worldwide. Psychological resilience and social bonds often tip the scales between life and death. Medical reports following the rescue highlighted the miners' remarkable recovery. While some suffered long-term effects, including muscle atrophy and mild frostbite, most returned to health. Their survival story has since informed mining safety protocols, emergency response strategies, and even psychological support programs for trapped workers. The lessons learned are now part of a broader effort to prevent future tragedies. Could modern technology prevent such a disaster from trapping workers for so long? Advances in underground communication, monitoring sensors, and rapid response robotics offer hope. Yet, the unpredictability of nature remains. Mines are inherently dangerous places, and the human element, training, preparedness, mental toughness, continues to be the first line of defense. What remains unresolved is the deeper question of how we prepare for the unthinkable. Can any training fully prepare a person to survive 14 days underground with no contact? Or does true survival depend on a combination of luck, willpower, and circumstance? These miners' experience challenges us to rethink our assumptions about endurance and the human spirit. The story also invites reflection on the cost of industrial progress. Beneath the earth, in darkness few ever see, lives hang in the balance every day. The miner's ordeal is a stark reminder that even with all our technology, nature's force and the fragile boundary of life demand respect and vigilance. In the end, this survival chronicle is more than a tale of endurance. It is a testament to human resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. It reveals the power of hope, the strength found in unity, and the limits we are capable of pushing when survival becomes the only option. Every day I uncover true survival facts, stories that warn you and stories that inspire. Subscribe so you don't miss the next investigation, and leave a comment. It helps this channel survive. Stay curious. See you tomorrow.